Welcome everyone to Mindset Monday. I'm Denise, Zack. So glad you're here. We're with GamePlanU today. And for those of you who do not know what GamePlanU is, it is a corporation, a business that helps founders and startups to get in front of investors, to meet, more importantly, other founders who are in the same space as them, who are doing the same things with sports tech startups. And all of these startups are these amazing people who are changing the way that we consume sports, that we watch sports, that we interact with sports through gaming and betting and wearables and platforms and fan engagement. And it is an amazing group of our founders that are in this GamePlanU community. I'm really, really lucky today for our 16th episode to be interviewing the winner of the first inaugural GamePlanU Founder Sports Tech Sprint competition, Anderw Naugher. He is an amazing person. He's done so much with his platform, but just has 30 plus years with media communications, strategic communications, just has done so much in the world of technology with his platform as well. And I think that you all are going to really be impressed by what he does. I'm going to bring him on in a couple of seconds, but I want to thank you for being here today. I want to encourage you to click that like button and subscribe to the GamePlanU channel, because we've got more of these podcasts coming at you with great content, because what we want to do is provide you all with the ability to connect with people who are doing great things in the industry. This specific podcast is about getting into those 6 inches in between your ears, really helping you to understand how a founder does it. How does someone develop a startup? How do they work through struggles, difficult situations, barriers that they think may block them from achieving their goals, yet they still do it? We all need stories of inspiration. We all need people to guide us, to pull us up as we're coming through the ranks and trying to build ourselves. So that's what this podcast is about. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Anderw. Anderw, great to meet you today.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you here. I met you this past year, right? Through the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been so wonderful to get to know you, to get to know about you and your platform, but really just who you are as a person. So I'm just so excited to talk today and to get connected. So why don't you just start off with, telling us a little bit more about yourself and about
Sure.
About the Media X Partners Inc. that you are founder and CEO of, and whose first platform is Rikodi, which is the startup that actually won the sprint competition. So why don't you go ahead and tell us?
I will. Yeah, thank you. I am the son of a Baptist minister and a teacher, actually a reading specialist. Both of them had a great influence on me in so many different ways, but especially when it comes to wanting to learn more, wanting to expand my creative abilities, also the learning to be empathetic with people, learning how to be part of a community as well. That really helped me through my career, because it ultimately led into a very blessed career in marketing and public relations, and now social media, getting to work with some great people, some great companies, some great global brands, but also some really interesting dynamic startups across all sorts of fields, and in education, life sciences, biotech, consumer. So I've been very, very fortunate from that. And but there was one point a few years ago where I said, you know what, I want to keep a good idea for myself and start a company, and that company's Media X Partners, and that product is rikodi, which is something that's very near and dear to my heart, because it's a product around enabling people to preserve and share and relive their favorite memories, because that's kind of the life that I had. Had a very memorable life, had a great family history, had a very strong close-knit family where we were together for most holidays. I've been able to take a lot of trips as a young person. Had great experiences in college and in the business world, and great friendships and things like that. And so those friendships and those relationships are very important to me. So it's nice to be able to build something that really reflects my own personal experiences and my own personal set of values.
And I love it. And the way that we found you is that, you really initially were looking for a way that rikodi can interact with teams and
Correct.
stadiums. And
Correct.
so
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about your vision for that?
Yeah. It was very interesting when we had the original prototype for rikodi, which is targeted at the consumer application. So to allow family and friends to build out multimedia digital scrapbooks and then keep it on their own personal library that rikodi is.
Mhm.
As we were testing that with about 1,000 influencers, people that were involved with food, blogging, travel, people that did a lot of content, a lot of multimedia content, that type of thing. We started to hear from some people to say this might be a really interesting application in the sports and entertainment world. And of course, this is pre-COVID, where fan engagement was starting to become a bigger issue, starting to become a bigger priority. Also, sponsors were kind of looking for more digital type campaigns because there was a greater priority put on getting good analytics to see the ROI on their sponsorship investment. Was it good enough just to have the sign out in center field, or the placards down by courtside, that type of thing. So they were looking for more digital programs. So we took it in and started, talking to people at Division I athletic departments and pro teams. It had tremendous response, which really blew me away because I thought one it would be, and it was fortunate for having some really good connections who opened the doors for me. So they liked the product, so they kind of did a little pre-selling for us, because these teams are hit up every week, with countless people trying to sell technologies and solutions into them and that type of thing. So it's a great blessing if you can get in the door to talk to someone. So you better make it worthwhile. What was really fortunate was in the first meeting that we had, it was scheduled for 30 minutes and it ended up being 2 hours because they and this was a great learning for me for future meetings. Was they brought in a sponsorship person and they brought in a ticket sales person. And so because they started seeing that rikodi wasn't just another social media platform, that it was built, and now we could, being a marketing PR person, I was talking to them as a peer, not as a technology wizard trying to wow them, with all these fancy features. It was understand that I understood what it's like, what they needed to do. And so then they understood that, hey, this is something that can generate not only greater fan engagement for us, but it has the possibility of generating and replacing some of this revenue, becoming a really solid revenue stream for us going forward. So they could see that if they were to use our product, that there would be a true return on investment. It wouldn't just be another piece of technology that would be in there. So that was good because they started to really just share what they were needing and what they were looking for. And so it was just fantastic that they would feel free to offer, really, to a stranger,
Mhm.
to offer their insights and, like, oh, they needed this and they whatever, that type of thing. And also some great learnings about once the product was finished, how to really, come back, but also how to go and approach other people as well, in selling the product. So it has been a fantastic journey. I couldn't have been more blessed to have those type of insights. Uh, like I said, meeting for the first time and people getting excited about it, because too they also saw it was funny. There were several meetings where we had people go, you know what? You ought to do a consumer product out of this because I would love to preserve my own family memories, and that kind of thing. I said, well, we've thought about it, so yeah, we'll keep it on the list. So, so that was nice too, that they saw the other the application for it, and that's that has been really beneficial for us. So it's put us in a good position where people have been very enthusiastic about it and have been willing to wait, for the product. So we feel like it's been very productive that we really didn't pivot. We just put more of a priority to roll out and expand our business model to go after sports and entertainment because for one, there's built-in community there. I mean, there are people that share these passions and they share these memories and these experiences. And it's not just about being at games, but it's watching it. It's just following the team your whole life, being invested in them. So it's also a fantastic way to teach the larger population about Rikodi and how to use it. So if they do transition to the consumer platform, a lot of them will have this great experience through their favorite teams or favorite entertainers.
Yeah. And I love the fact that, it's really focused on creating memories and ways for
Right.
fans and teams to
Mhm.
engage in those memories. And
It is.
guess what? You can monetize it as well,
That's that's right. Well, and it's I think it's just one of those things where it seems like, well, anybody should be doing it, but it gets overlooked because I think when you get into technology related issues or solutions, uh, you're always kind of looking for something that has a big wow factor and seems sexy. When we look at uh, uh, automated or augmented reality, different things like that that sound like really cool. But you know what? I think there's and those are great, and all that plays a part. But when the teams step back and realize the bond that they have with these fans is based on the memories that they've created with them,
Right.
and there really is not a repository for those fans to share those memories, and that also is a great opportunity now because I know teams are all talking about wanting to have more personalized content, more personalized experiences. Well, that's you can't get more personal than the memories that you and the thing is the teams have created them, so the teams should be owning those. The team should want to go and bring those back in under their brand and control it and have that experience because it is there. It is unique between that team, and that fan or that entertainer and that fan. Um, so it was like one of those. We realized we weren't the sexy thing, but we built something that we felt like was very cool and fun to use to make it easy for them
Yeah.
to say that this is something that this is a marketing approach that we want to take.
Absolutely. And given the state that our world is in right now,
Mhm.
people not being able to connect with people, feeling, you know, like things have just stopped and
Mhm.
ended, and people really, I think, paying attention more now than ever to how important relationships are and how important connection is, whether it's virtually or in person, and really knowing that virtual is all we have right now. I just think that Rikodi has such an important space right now for our fans, for the fans of sports, and just in general for families um, and and things of that nature, groups of that nature, because at the end of the day, um, you know, everything is uncertain. There are no
That's right.
guarantees in life,
That's right.
and to be able to have a place to go to where these memories can be shared and just
Mhm.
celebrated
Mhm.
and looked at, I think is just incredibly powerful.
It is, and the actual inspiration for my vision of Ricody came from when I had to announce to the world, because people were still requesting for my father, even though he'd been retired for 15 years, we're still requesting for my father to do a family funeral or do a wedding or something, because he had done it for generations for
Mm.
people. They had been calling the church asking, "Hey, could you convince Brother Wayne?" And the poor pastor that was there was like, "Well, I don't know. Let me talk to the family." And they would call funeral homes and have the funeral homes call me to beg me to, "Can your dad?" Because we can't think of anybody else doing these things for our family, because he's been there for generations. But when I put the story out that Dad was dealing with Alzheimer's and couldn't do that, and my mom's health was failing as well, I just got this cascade of people sharing their favorite memories and how my parents affected their lives. And it was text, it was emails, it was social posts, it was people sending pictures, some even digitized videos and sent it to me and things like that. And that was kind of the inspiration for, wouldn't it be nice to have this kind of open digital book repository? People could come in and integrate all these assets, but then also tell their story. Put the text on top. It's not, we look at pictures and we're still going, well, who's that and why?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
are they there? That we always want to know the story behind that. So we try to facilitate the multimedia aspect, but the 360 being able to tell the narrative as well.
yeah.
And so that's really where it started. Was from that, because I was finding stories I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And I think that also is the power of Rikodi, is that because it's this collaborative community, this collaborative aspect, that you're going to find out stories and bits and pieces of information that you didn't know exist. And how great is that? And we try to make it to where whatever you have to share, you may not have a picture, but you may have a story that you can type out and share. Well,
Sure.
that's just as important as anything else. So it's to allow everybody to be able to participate in this. And we're going through a very hard time right now in our family, because we lost a very dear aunt and cousin this past weekend to an accident with a drunk driver. And our family's never experienced this kind of tragedy before. We've had, most of the deaths in our family have been from older age, or there's been cancer, like my dad with Alzheimer's. But we were prepared for those things. And even when the deaths come, it's still sad, but nothing where the life was taken through a tragedy like this. And so, I'm hearing stories about my cousin and aunt that, of course, I never would have known, because people are reaching out and saying things who I've never met, but they want to share. And that means the world to me. Well, what also is important to me is that not only facilitating that ability to share, but I want to go back and relive those things. There are days that I want to go back and relive, trips with my parents and holidays with my family, or the 2004 Red Sox beating the Yankees, and then finally breaking the curse, or my Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Though that's how we're wired as humans. And like you said, with the pandemic, it has really, I think, put a bigger focus on that. And even for people who didn't seem sentimental before, are more sentimental now, because they realize those things that you kind of take for granted, or the ability to just go out and be and do and travel and those kind of things, those can be taken away in a second.
Yeah.
And we just feel lost, because we need those relationships, we need those experiences. So we want Rikodi to be able to, to help facilitate that. And two, just as I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just for fun, I'm gonna Google nostalgia and COVID, and just put in those two words. And there was a string of articles
Mm.
that came up, which has been great for me, because it's really reinforced Rikodi, but it's also shown that COVID has, like you said, it has made people more nostalgic. And I've even seen a term like the COVID generation, about people that are, they say it now and hopefully they will, but they really want to be about relationships and experiences and memories and making memories and reliving memories. People were very nostalgic, posting a lot of things online. I think a lot of the social content beyond the political stuff was people were putting up their favorite memories because they needed to. They wanted to interact, and they wanted the people involved with that to also respond back to them so they could talk about it. So I think that's always there in humans, but COVID has really brought that, I think, to the surface, and I think we're going to see it be very much a part of people's lives and values going forward.
Absolutely. And really highlighting all the things that we celebrate, but also helping us to remember some things that we may have lost, or
Yes.
how things have changed in our lives, which can help us to move forward, can bring closure
Right.
to situations and things of that
Right.
nature. But I want to shift gears a tiny bit. Keeping in line with the fact that life is precious. This COVID pandemic has certainly brought out more nostalgia in a lot of people realizing how relationships are. And you spoke about, and I'm so sorry for the loss of your aunt and
Thank
your.
you.
I know that it's been a really, really difficult time over these last few days.
Mhm.
And here you are on this podcast with me, right? And I know I emailed you and I said, let's reschedule.
Right.
It's probably a good idea.
Right.
Um, you got right back on and you said, you know what, but I want to get this in. I'd like to do it before, we've got a lot of family stuff coming up and I think I can squeeze you in. I'm thinking, Mike, let me, let's wait on this.
Yeah.
I push you, but you're an entrepreneur at heart. I mean, and you are also so passionate about what you do. You're passionate
Right.
about your product and what it does. And so I kind of want to I'm hoping you can speak to that a little bit
Sure.
about this drive that you have, even when things are tough. Like,
Mm.
how do you keep going? What is it that keeps you going when things feel like they may be falling apart a little bit?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's my faith definitely is the greatest motivator. And then also really being, uh, um, having the role models in my parents, uh, uh, as far as understanding and being empathetic towards other people, knowing that your life may be going well and things may be going well for you, but the person next to you may not be having a great day or a great life, or they may have just suffered a tragedy and you don't know, or things could be happening that are kind of out of their control and they feel helpless. And so it's always incumbent on um, myself to try to be as sensitive to other people around, try to do what I can to be a role model for my faith and just help other people. I'm definitely well beyond not being perfect and miss out on opportunities, but I just think that it. I've seen it. I've seen people that had a great life and had a tragedy. I've seen people that you just didn't understand why it seemed like things were going against them, and it's hard to reconcile, but that um, you're really put here for a purpose, to do things, and it really kind of, and I think hopefully that's in some way rikodi is demonstrative of that philosophy, is that everybody has a life, everybody has memories, everybody has friendships that they should be proud of and that they should be able to preserve and to relive. And you don't always have to be the wealthiest person or the best looking or the most successful in business or things like that, but you can have a good life and you can have things that contribute and help other people, and it can be done in a very quiet way, but people should know those stories. People should be able to have the ability um, to say that this is my life, and I'm very, very, and I'm happy with it. And I just want to be able to be that person that even if it was a smile or saying, how are you doing? Or, hope you're doing okay. Just reaching out to people, even strangers, just to be kind. You never know what that means, and how that can affect people. Because I've had it myself. I've had complete strangers. I've been out before and been a little down, certain things or whatever. But I've had complete strangers say, "Hey, how are you doing?" Said, "I hope you have a better day. Hope you have a good day," and whatever. And just it seemed like just that they were acknowledging that I was there, and that there was somebody who kind of just saw me, and felt like it was worth their while to say something and be kind to me, was a big help to me. And I thought, how many times do we miss those opportunities just by simple acts of being there? And I know even with what we're struggling with, I know there are other people that are struggling, and so I don't want to miss out on what could be a help to other people, as well. And my faith doesn't take away the pain, because the pain is there. Because again, we're humans. We're wired for relationships. Those things are part of us. And when something is taken like that, it is hard, and it will be for a while. Um, but we also have this innate ability to pick ourselves up, and still go out and be productive, and still be part of life. I know the best way I could honor, my aunt, and my cousin and my mom and my dad, is being a productive citizen, being someone who's kind, being someone who shows love and empathy to other people, just like they did. So that's the biggest motivation.
Yeah, that and I think, it's incredible and such a testament to you and who you are as a person, that even in your loss in this week, your focus is on other people and supporting other
Thank you.
people, and helping other people, right? And I think
Yeah.
more of us did a little bit more of that. At the end of the day, you said people have reached out to you on those days when you were having a bad day and they didn't know that you were having a bad day. Just that by being acknowledged, it just gives you a little bit of energy. It makes you feel like you're heard, and I think at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we want to be heard, we want to be seen, we want to feel like we're valued and we mean something to people. And so, um,
Exactly. Yeah, there was a
yeah,
great story that stuck with me, and I said it even a few times this week to some people. But um, my the community where I grew up in, which I loved, also was a big farming, ranching community, and there was a lot of. I learned then that just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean that you're always wearing the greatest things. Because I knew some very wealthy farmers who drove a 1950s Ford pickup and torn jeans and wore the same shirt. They'd dress up nice for church, but you'd see them during the day, and they'd open the door, and their hunting dog would jump out, and that type of thing. And but there was a gentleman who, after he would do his cattle sale, gave his tithe to the church, but then always wanted to give something to Dad, because Dad had been his pastor for a long time, but had been there for the family during some things, and he just had a great affinity for my father. And my dad kept saying, "Oh, no, 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 you don't need to do that. Whatever. I just want to do." And it was a few years later, after my dad had turned him down, and he finally said, "You know what, Brother Wayne, you're robbing me of a blessing, because this is something that God put on my heart to be able to do to you, and this is a mission that I have. This is a way that I don't know other things to do. I can't sing, I can't do these things or whatever, but I can do this, and I want to be able to." And that really knocked my dad for a loop, when you realize that people have their own ways of expressing love, and communicating and wanting to have a relationship, and not every person does the same thing. But we need to allow those people to and embrace how people want to communicate, how the relationship they want to have, and again, appreciate what they do, what they bring to life, and what they do to help, your family, your greater community, your church, organizations, schools, that type of thing. So that's something I really try to remember, is that somebody wants to do something for me. It's because it's been put on their heart, and we need to accept that and embrace that.
And accept help sometimes
That's
when
that's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
yeah.
because I think people think if they accept help, there's weakness, or that they're mooching off of somebody or whatever. And again, it comes back to, because I see this now, when I'm with what's happened with my family, is people are shocked and stunned, but they don't know what to do. They're so desperate to, they want to communicate their love, they want to communicate their hurt, but a lot of times they just don't know what to do. And some of them, it's like, well, I don't really want to give flowers because flowers, go away. I'd like to donate money, or I'd like to do this. Or I feel like I want to do something that's productive but beneficial for them. But I need some way to express myself through
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
And so you're right to be able to say, hey, I need the help. I'm hurting, or we need this, or whatever. There's nothing. And that's one thing I've had to learn through the entrepreneur process, was that it's the great irony is spending my years consulting with executives and my clients to go out and tell their story and do whatever and all this kind of thing. And then there are times it's like, well, I don't want to go up and ask that person, for a meeting to show rikodi, or talk to them about being an investor, or just, wanting to ask somebody about their journey too. It's so I'm constantly still,
Yeah.
having to grow in that realm myself.
Well, and I do think it's so important that we offer our stories up, that we're not afraid to show vulnerability, that we're open and honest and true about what's going on in our life. Because at the end of the day, I think I mean, we can compartmentalize, we can go to work, we can do what we need to do, but I think it's really hard to separate out if something really terrible or difficult is happening in your life. And likewise, if something amazing and wonderful is happening in your life, it's going to impact you in work,
Right.
with
Right.
your colleagues, with how productive you are. And
Mhm.
so to not acknowledge it and to not pay attention to it, I think is a disservice in the business world. And I think that there's a movement and a push, especially with COVID right now, and the intersection between home and work becoming so intertwined right now, where it used to be more separate. Now you've got kids running in the
Yeah,
background, you know.
that's right. That's right. Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
life, right? And we're
that's
all
right.
and we all have bad days, and we all have things that happen, and we keep going, right? We pick
Mhm.
ourselves
That's right.
up and we keep going, right?
Yeah,
So
that's exactly right.
could you talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial mindset? Like, what keeps you going? I know you said your faith, right? And I think it's probably at the crux of everything that you do. Um, but what kinds of things do you say to yourself? How do you prepare yourself for your day? How do you get ready, especially when things are difficult and challenging?
Well, uh, first of all, I just absolutely love what I'm doing. I love being an entrepreneur. I love being in this position, but I love my product too. I just really, there's no other way to put it, but I just love the product. I love waking up in the morning thinking, who am I going to get to talk to today about rikodi?
Mm,
And being able to share that vision, because I've seen the emotional response from people, to talk about, the product, and when you mention it, it people get emotional about it. I've had grown men cry talking about, gosh, I wish I had this, back then. Of course, they can't wait for it, but it's like when my parents died,
yeah.
and and I've had so many people talk about that, just when they start sharing memories and the emotions that it evokes. But the the feeling of thinking there's going to be something there that's going to have all these memories that I could just keep going back to over and over and over again. Um, that's tremendous motivation. And then when you know, are able to say, yeah, if you're a fan of so and so, being able to go back and relive those things and to see the people with the teams get excited, but the fans, that you talk to about, oh man, that's so cool. I would love to do this. I have all these things that I wish I could, put together, and I'd love to be able to share that with others. So uh, that's a huge motivation. Of course, it's also a great intersection of my love for sports and my love for technology and my love for business. So it's all these elements of my life that are important to me that I'm getting to work out at every day. So it's
So it's kind of
so that do
do what
what
do what you love is, I think, the
it
message there,
it
right?
it really is. I mean, I know people kind of poo-poo that, and I hear well, it's not really follow your passion, blah blah, that kind of thing, and it's um, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I do think it is. There's a market difference when you're doing something that you love because you're wanting to see it through. You're going to invest in it. Sometimes it can blind you, but that's where you need other good people. Be willing to bring those other people around you that you are building a business, a long-term business that needs to bring returns and make profits and those type of things. But that passion, you need to have that to drive this thing forward because I mean, I ask like the teams that I've been looking at as our developers is my last question to them is, will you use this product? And if they're not willing to use it, I don't want them working on it because I want people who get excited about it and say, oh, this is what can be done with it. That not the idea of loading the features, but I want that same passion to go into not only myself, but the people who sell, the people who are developing it, the people in finance, the people, whatever that, they're all willing to stake a claim to that vision and and also work out a passion as well. Because I mean, how great is it to get up in the morning and think, I'm really getting to do something that
Yeah.
I love like this. I mean, truly love. There's actually nights I didn't want to go to bed because I was so excited about I'm getting to talk to somebody the next day about rikodi, and it just had me so juiced that it's like sleep. Who needs sleep? I want to get to this meeting as quickly as possible. So I love that aspect of it.
I do too. And I think it's so important what you're talking about is we get energy from passion and purpose. I
Right.
mean, yeah, we need to sleep and we need to eat the right things. Like that's yeah, but when you're excited, when you are passionate about something, sometimes you forget to eat and sometimes you don't sleep as much because there's so
Yeah.
much adrenaline inside you because you're so excited about what it is that you're able to do. So
Right.
I love that advice that, be passionate about what you
Yeah.
want to do, go for it, put all your energy into it. And
Exactly.
about two other things too. You talked about people and that passion, right?
Mhm.
So energy and purpose, but then people and passion, like surrounding yourself with people who are just as passionate as you are about what it is that you're doing, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
and really surrounding yourself with people that can also support what it is
Yeah.
that you want to do and how you
That
want to do it.
that's exactly right because it's you can't do it as a one person. Um, that you do need other people around you who are specialists and really lean on them. And there's great lessons to be learned from all of them. That's I'm trying to be better as an entrepreneur, being better educated. Knowing those things, even though I consulted with businesses before and then really tried to understand their business before I would even give them recommendations. I felt like I had to be immersed in their businesses to truly understand give them the proper perspective, in creating the right strategies and things like that. But yeah, it's really, and that's where GamePlanU has really played a huge part in my growth over the last year. Was I've talked to other founders, and we always keep coming back to being a founder is a lonely business, and a lot of times you are a founder, you're a solo entrepreneur, it's your idea. You might be fortunate to have a co-founder, but for the most part, it's you and your idea and what you're trying to do. And it does feel very lonely because you don't know sometimes where to turn, and you're afraid to reach out again and ask for help and things like that. So what I loved about the dynamic of GamePlanU was that it was bringing really everybody together. And while the mission was to help open doors for investment relationships and strategic partnerships and sales, that type of thing, at the real core is to really help the founders have a place to come and just say, hey, here's what's going on. I'm struggling with this, or I want to do this, or whatever, that you didn't feel alone, that you knew that there was some other great people out there that had great ideas, and you wanted to support them and see what they're going through as well. So the term cohort is very applicable here and very relevant, because you do feel like you're part of a group that understands what you're going through, and you want to see each other win, and you want to help support them the way that you can. So it's been incredibly valuable experience, and incredibly valuable, and looking, hoping to have relationships with these people well beyond, once we kind of leave GamePlanU. But I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think you've given such great advice to people who are watching, who may be struggling, who may be going through difficult things, to reach out, to not go it alone, to ask for help, not be afraid to ask for help, and to put your heart and soul into things that are meaningful and purposeful for you, that give you drive and give you energy to keep going. And I just love that advice. We are so happy and proud at GamePlanU for the growth that rikodi has made, that you have generated over the last year. It's just been amazing, and we're so excited about what's to come. And it's going to be awesome, and we're so excited for you. And we're even more excited that you're part of our community, and that I know that there'll be a time where you won't need the services, but we hope that you'll always be a part of our family, and share your expertise and share your innovation. Because
I hope to be part of the graduate program at GamePlanU. So for all the people that have gone on and having success, to be there and be part of helping the next classes that are coming up. And it means a lot, and I'm really looking forward to this year. Obviously, we're really poised for some fantastic things to happen, and so much of that is a direct result of GamePlanU.
Awesome. So if people want to get in touch with that, I put these up a couple times through your session today, but this is your email if people want to contact you.
Right. Please do. And LinkedIn, check with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to be able to talk with other entrepreneurs, whether or not you're in the sports world or not. But and then obviously, if you're interested in rikodi, please, let me know, because we're very excited to show that to people and demonstrate it, how it can. We think it's a really unique platform that can bring a lot of success in your marketing and fan engagement. So
I agree, it is, and it's going to be a staple, I think, at most professional sports teams. Just
looking forward to that. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Among other things, not just sports, but just life in general.
Yeah.
So again, I want to thank you for being a guest here today. I really appreciate you being here. Again, GamePlanU is rolling out a whole new model in the next couple of weeks, an exciting platform that's going to bring our founders even closer together and give you even more opportunities to connect, engage, interact, and grow and learn from other founders. It's this amazing marketplace that we are putting together, and we're so excited about its rollout. So if you are at all, thinking about your business, your startup, getting into this community, please don't hesitate to connect with us. You can email me for more information about that at denise@gameplanu.org. And we're just, again, so excited to have you on the podcast today, Andrew. I want to thank you. Yeah.
An honor.
If you want to hear more, if you want to learn more about GamePlanU, click the subscribe button. And we look forward to seeing y'all soon. Take care and have a great day.